Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here, Tank12, however you call me, I don't really care, and welcome back to World of Tanks. Today, we're going to be doing something that I usually do not do on this channel, and that is show artillery gameplay. I don't really play a lot of artillery, but when I do play artillery, it's usually the T92 or maybe the Object 261. Those are the only tier 10 artilleries that I have unlocked. And if we check into the tech tree, you can see that there's basically only artillery left to unlock, but I'm not really sure if I'm able to play artillery as much as I need to be able to unlock the next RTPs. But to be fair, it's not even that important. I'm first going to finish all the non-artillery tanks, then I'm going to see what I'm going to be doing with artillery. But right here we have a very special artillery piece. This is the LAFH 18B2 artillery. It's in the French tech tree, but it's actually a captured B1, that's the French tier 4 heavy tank that you can play in World of Tanks, that the Germans captured and refurbished into a SPG. And what they did is they took out the turret, they took out the gun at the front, the 75mm gun, and they put in basically just a little bit of a sheet wall around and added in a 105mm howitzer gun. And this is the artillery piece in World of Tanks that is still around, and is one of the last artillery pieces, or I think probably the only one, that still has the old World of Tanks RD features. And that is, it actually has the pen values for the high explosive shells, and it has heat shells and AP shells, which is quite interesting to see because no other vehicles apart from this, and maybe the Sexton, I'm not sure yet. The Sexton also has AP shells. These are the only ones that have the premium and the old school shell loadout. I think probably also a Soviet tank artillery piece. I'm not sure what it's called, but there's one more, I think. A Soviet premium artillery piece, a very small one, that also has the feature, but these are the only ones. So if you want to play, old school artillery, this is the way to go. I haven't really played a lot of games in my LAFH. I've played maybe about 4 or 5. I got this tank once when I was getting Christmas boxes, I think, and I did get it, or I think the black market, I'm not entirely sure. But this is a collector's vehicle. It's not a tank that I play often, and it's something that I didn't really pay a lot of attention to. But people tend to call this one kind of a premium disaster or a very overpowered tank. Now, I haven't really played it a lot, and I don't really remember playing it the last time. So, you know what? We're going to be jumping into a game. We're going to see how well this tank does. We don't have anything currently except for premium consumables, because that's what I do on artillery if I want to get the maximum efficiency out of the vehicle. And we're gonna use, high explosive, AP, and heat just to see what the tank is all about. And we have a pretty bad crew, no skills, no brothers in arms, no sixth sense, no nothing like that. We have no equipment because I'm too cheap to buy equipment for this tank that I'm never gonna be playing. And we're gonna try out this bad boy right here because I am just interested in what it feels like to be playing the old artillery in the new World of Tanks, because you're not going to have any splash, you're not going to have any artillery kind of stun effect, and since Wargaming are returning some of the features like AP and other high explosive shells, that change is going to be quite interesting for artillery because it might just bring back the high explosive AP changes, and people will be switching in between those shots. And it's going to be quite interesting to see how well they balance it out. But it's currently on a high list of priority for Wargaming, and I'm going to be quite interested to see how it will turn out. But right now, we're going to jump into a battle with the 105 LAFH, and this is live commentary, live gameplay, so I don't know how well it's going to turn out. Let's just bear with me. I'm going to search for a game, and I'm going to be back once we find one. So, we find ourselves back on Redshire, and it's crazy. I haven't played this tank in years, so let's see how well I do. I don't really play a lot of artillery, so I need to figure out the best way to be effective, and I'm gonna be trying out the heat shells. That's probably going to be my second or third shot, but the reload time you can already see is 9.3 seconds. It's a 105mm gun, but without the stun feature, it's probably not going to hurt them as much as the other artillery pieces will do with their big 152mm cannons and their stun feature that they have unlocked. But either way, it's kind of funny to think about it, because do you guys know when you just scroll through your World of Tanks garage and you know, find vehicles that you've completely forgotten about? Because I've noticed that there are a shit ton of tanks in my garage that I completely forgot about, and this was one of it. I just stumbled across it, and I thought, you know what, today I want to try this out. I want to see how well it does. This is no review or rant or anything like it. I just want to try it out and see what the fuss is all about when they first talked about this vehicle. This is also a perfect matchup, tier 5 battle only, so potentially this could be like the perfect game where we can, you know, really try out the AP shells and the heat shells. I really don't plan on playing a lot of artillery in the near future, so I think it's okay if I try this one out for once and see how well I can actually do. There's a Stug, and unfortunately for him, he got lit up pretty quickly by the ELC over there. I'm not even sure if we did any splash damage, since this artillery piece probably will not do a lot of splash damage if we think about it. Okay, that's going to be a tough one. Close. This is ridiculous that you're able to actually shoot into this area right here, I think. It's just ridiculous how artillery is somehow always able to get a shot off at your position, unless you're really behind like a solid structure completely, but they somehow still manage to splash you, which is ridiculous. But whatever. Okay, that I did not expect that to be able to actually get one right through there, but having this kind of view really helps a lot, I think. So yeah, okay, this time around I don't think we're going to be able to hit them really here. It's going to be quite difficult undertaking. Whoa, the Stug gets his revenge. He moved and he did quite well, but he's still staying right there. He's not moving. I'm going to be completely fucked in a second because there's an 820. We destroyed the Stug. Okay. I'm not even sure how much HP the Stug had, but the next target is going to be the T-67 right here. Not sure if that did any splash damage. Probably not. And we're gonna do it one more time. You know, get just that blind fire in there. No damage or no hit as well. There's an 820 right here. Thankfully, our team managed to take him out. You gotta be really careful when you play like tier 5 and stuff like that, because it just, you know, there are so many things that happen, and if you don't pay attention, they will just, you know, abandon a complete section of the map, and you're just gonna be looking like an idiot when they finally do come rolling around. And that's just something you have to get used to when you're playing artillery. I do want to have a direct hit right there. Direct hit, 177 damage. That does hurt. That's 20% of the HP. But he doesn't have the stun to worry about. At least that is gone. Now we're going to try a heat shell. This is the premium round for this vehicle. I really want to see what happens if I pen him, or if I'm able to pen him. Okay. That is not something I expected to happen. But it did. So we're moving on, and we're moving on to the Panzer IV over here. Hopefully he stays here for a second. That was a direct hit. I'm not sure how much damage we did right there, but I really want to find out. It maybe was just a track shot, because he's not there anymore. But we'll have to keep in mind how much damage we did to the Panzer IV, because at the moment we're at a measly 177. But that was a direct hit on the Valiant. But still, at the same time, we knocked out the Stug. We hit the Panzer IV with a heat shell. That could have been a lot of damage, because the heat shell, if you pen, are about 350 alpha. or average, and if you add 25% or deduct 25%, it can depend. Could be somewhere along the lines of over 400 or maybe a bit below 300, but we have to see. This has become a quite a action-packed game. You know what? I just want to see how much we did to the Panzer IV. Oh, we did quite a lot. Look at that. He has 690 HP. And to be fair, it seems to me that the HP changes really were spot on by Wargaming. We did not knock him out in a single shot. Thank God for him, because I do not want to be one of the guys that just one-shot somebody with a heat shell. Although we just hit him with a heat shell, and that certainly did hurt. And that high explosive shell must have splashed him quite good as well. And, you know, if you have the pen, well, you can look for those lightly armored tanks, how artillery always does it, at least recently. Or like previously, how we used to do it. We just looked for the easy targets, the RD players, and then they, you know, unleashed havoc on the light tanks. They're still doing that to this day. Quite confusing, to be fair. 165 on the T14. I think we're going to be dead in a second, but we're gonna try to get one more shot off. Unfortunately, no splash, no hit, and our game is done. The T67 did decide to push around, and he had the right decision, or he made the right decision, definitely. Let's see if this guy can one-shot him. He went over a rock when he fired, so that one probably went over the head of the T67. But yeah, artillery gets what it deserves, and that is to get annihilated for being really toxic in the back and hitting somebody for over 300 damage with a heat shell. So I kind of feel bad for unleashing that heat shell on the Panzer IV. The Valiant one did bounce it, which was quite interesting to see that the Valiant did bounce a heat shell on the tracks. That does happen. I remember hitting a mouse with the T92 back in the days with an AP shell, and it actually bouncing off the tracks. And that was quite ridiculous. But I also managed to pen a mouse once with an AP shell, pen him, set him on fire, kill him with a single shot. That's pretty crazy. That's something that's not going to be possible anymore, thank God. But the question is the high explosive spam really better with the splash damage? Because the splash damage at the moment, if you have 3 artillery pieces and you're a super heavy tank, you're some kind of vehicle that needs to push to be able to, you know, be combat effective, you're gonna have a really, 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 really bad time. Yeah. So now we actually have quite an interesting situation. We have a T67 on our team, a Chinukai. There is at least 1 artillery capping with the T67, it's a Bishop. And this T67 on our side, he just needs to... If they kill this T67, this could be a easy win. Oh, and he actually... Okay. It looks like the Chinukai, he has 3 marks, by the way. Yeah, they just won this game. This Chinukai has 3 marks on his tank, so he knows how to play this tank at least. He seems to be quite a pro-efficient player. And now they actually turned us around. Somehow, they managed to screw it up, but to be fair, they didn't do anything wrong. They started capping, they put some pressure on the T67 and the Chinukai. But the T67 and the Chinukai, at least this guy had a lot of luck without getting hit, not getting hit by artillery. And on the other side, the Chinukai had a really good position, really good angles to knock them out. He was able to spot them, get the assistance damage, and the Chinukai was able to knock them out from the side. So all in all, pretty well played and a pretty good game for all combatants in here. I think for us it's going to be... I'm not even sure what you should be expecting on a LA FH 18B2. I certainly wouldn't expect too much, at least for me. I don't really play a lot of artillery. I don't play artillery like that is not even fully, equipped. But I think this vehicle can be quite good in the capable hands of RD players that are really, really good. Hopefully they will never sell again. Hopefully they will never sell it again, because premium artillery is a thing that I don't think anyone wants to see. And I can count myself to that majority. I do not want to see premium artillery. I want them to fix artillery in a way that it's something that really works in the game. I don't want to make all the arty players, suffer and make them not play the tank role anymore. But I want them to be more, involved in the game and not just sit in the back, click away, and just be completely either irrelevant to the game or completely dominated. Because in artillery, if you're playing arty, I think there's no in between. Either the arty just doesn't really do a lot because the game is already over, arty doesn't have enough, doesn't have the best rate of fire, or artillery just absolutely dominates the game with 3 arty pieces and they just smash everything to bits. And it does really help with RNG and all that stuff, but yeah, I would really hope that they find a good balance in between, so that artillery can finally be a class that is put into the right perspective. This is really smart by Titan52 here. He drove into the spot that the artillery just fired at, because, well, who would fire at the same spot twice? And thus we win the game. 7 kills for Platoon 2. I think they just created the platoon to get the brothers in arms in the end, but work in the end. And yeah, shows you something that artillery will never be able to do in that kind of sense. But artillery can certainly do that if they want to. Well, I mean, they certainly can. Well, artillery certainly can be very beneficial to your team. So I really want to see what happened there. So we did 1,028 damage for a little teeny tiny tier 5 artillery. That's actually quite a lot, to be fair. We did pen the Panzer IV for 321, and we knocked out his tracks with that shot. Same with the Valiant. That was one hit with the high explosive shell. The 177, that's quite a lot of damage for a Valiant that is actually quite heavily armored, to be fair. We did knock out the Stuk, 234, that was a direct hit, and actually I think even a penetration. Yeah, you can see right there, that was 1 penetration, or total amount of penetration once. We managed to go right through him. And then we actually did not manage to penetrate the T-67 with a high explosive shell. We hit him on the tracks. It did not manage to penetrate his armor, but we did manage to do 131 damage to him in the end. So what can I say about the LA FH18B2? Well, it certainly is kind of interesting to see, or to dive back into the old, school of World of Tanks artillery, and I think it's not going to be something I'm going to be doing a lot. I'm going to be doing it eventually, from time to time, just to try it out. But yeah, I think this thing can be quite aggressive if played right and with the right equipment. It can be really annoying, probably. It can be like a horrible little tier 5 disease at tier 5 and tier 4 games if you get really lucky. But that's not something I want to find out. I'd much rather play my light tanks, and that's probably going to be the next thing I'm going to be playing. So hopefully you did like this video. As always, comment, like, and subscribe. And tell me, have you played this little French or German or captured French-German vehicle? Have you tried it out? What do you think about the LA FH18B2? As always, I see you guys on the next one.